Hello, I'm Tobias Daniels, the Director of Agriculture for the Food Forest Project, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about pH levels. Now, we've had a couple of questions put to us through our website about pH levels and kind of tests we conduct before we design a food forest. So I thought it'd be easier if I just did a brief video explaining why pH levels are an important thing to test. Now, we're here at the Shepton Mallet Food Forest plot. And it's due to be planted up on the 30th of March 2019, so this year, and we've started our design element, so I will be testing this plot today and I'll go through that with you later on. So pH stands for potential hydrogen, which means the amount of hydrogen ions compressed into the soil. So the more hydrogen ions are compressed into the soil, the more acidic it is. And the less hydrogen ions compressed into the soil, the more alkaline it is, or base as some people call it. The scale runs from 1 to 14, and 7 is our neutral point. So to put this into perspective, 1, a really sort of heavily condensed hydrogen ion soil, is very acidic, and that is like battery acid from your car. 14, barely any hydrogen ions, and that's more alkaline, like drain unblocker or bleach you have at home under the sink. So as you can appreciate, the extremes of the scale, very bad for plants and wildlife. You wouldn't plant a tree in some acid or some bleach, would you? But then a lot of plants do like the soil a little bit more alkaline or a little bit more acidic. So we test that in the soil in 4 different patches to get a sort of, a fair test. And then we'll conclude a pH level, and we will plant the trees and shrubs that are suitable for the pH of this land. It's worth bearing in mind that these food forests are self-regulating ecosystems, so we need to get this right or they will fail. So now I'll just dig up a couple of samples, pop them in a bag, and then when I get home I'll show you how I test them. Okay, I'm back and home in the warm and dry, thankfully. And I will now show you how we test our soil sample the old school way. So, test tube, and we take some of the soil sample and pop it in the test tube. It's all very basic. Okay, dropping it everywhere. Add a bit of water, clouding up already. Pop your hand over the top tightly, don't want it to go everywhere. Give it a good shake, just so you really mix the soil and the water together. Okay, that'll be fine. Now we could test that, but it wouldn't be a very clear sample because of all the silt swirling around. So we've got a bit of filter paper here and a funnel. We're going to filter it back into our beaker. Now this will take a couple of seconds. But certainly worth doing if you want a clear sample. Here is our chart. This is our pH chart with all the different colours that could come up. It's a shame I don't have something very acidic to show you actually. It'd be quite fascinating to do a video on that. Okay, nearly all through. Come on. That's plenty. Right. So now we just have our sample, we add a little bit of universal indicator and give it a swirl around and check the colour. Now that appears quite dark on the camera. In actual fact that's quite light. When I hold it up to the light coming through my window there, it's quite a light green. And on our chart I would say it's at a 7.5. Now, as I said earlier on, our neutral is at 7, which is where most plants and trees will grow. As I said, some like it slightly more acidic, some like it slightly more alkaline. Fortunately, our fruit trees and nut trees and our various shrubs and plants that we will utilise will grow a whole point to 0.5 either side of our neutral. So we should be okay, but we will tailor the crop towards our sample today. Okay, that hopefully is the question in pH testing answered. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a comment and a like below. If there are any other questions you'd like us to answer, just go to www.thefoodforestproject.org, fill in the online form, and it'll send us an email and we'll happily answer them. Thanks for watching.